on that for the next hour. We turn it over to Mile High, the legend of the dunk contest with Marv Albert.
Denver, Colorado, founded in the 1800s as settlers searched for gold in the Rocky Mountain surroundings. A century later, a basketball nugget was unearthed by the ABA in the year 1976, a slam dunk contest. The NBA will continue this experiment the next time its All-Star game hit the mile-high air. And from the Rocky Mountain Way, a gold mine of athletic artistry and a flair for the dramatic would ensue. For the next hour, we dig deep to tell you how it all happened, for there are many stories from Mile High, legend of the dunk contest.
Hi everybody, I'm Marv Albert. Now the year was 1976, our nation in the midst of celebrating the bicentennial. Our American troops had exited Vietnam. Gerald Ford was our president. This was an era before the internet. There was no CNN, no ESPN or TNT, no USA Today. However, professional basketball consisted of two separate leagues. The established National Basketball Association, 30 years in existence, and the wild and wacky American Basketball Association, the ABA, whose 9 years were legendary due to their folk-like status.
Well, at that time, you know, the ABA had a lot of anonymity, and the NBA was getting all up. The ABA players, you know, always had a one for all, all for one attitude. We would all pull for one another, but when we got on those black lines, you know, the competition was intense.
Well, there was a camaraderie. Everybody in the ABA wanted to see it become successful. It gave a lot of young players a chance to develop and be successful. In the NBA, the young players sat on the bench. In our league, the young players made up our league. They got to develop their skills. It was a more wide open game.
The ABA was trying to gain acceptance, trying to take some of the turf away from the NBA, and it was an uphill battle.
The NBA had a lot more players, but the ABA had some unbelievable superstars. But the perception between the two leagues, like the NBA was it, and the ABA was just nothing.
The NBA, especially in the early 70s, was still a walk the ball up the court, pounded inside kind of league. And I think the ABA was playing a little more exciting basketball because our better players were forwards and guards, not big people. And with the three-point line, it was more of a wide open game.
In a lot of ways, I thought the ABA had the better young talent, and they played the game the way I really like to play, up and down, above the rim. Spectacular individual play, and you had some good team play.
For the 1975-76 season, the ABA was set to start the year with 10 teams. By December, they were down to only 7. How bad was it? For its All-Star game, the league's best team, the Denver Nuggets, would face an ABA All-Star squad because they could not put together enough players for an East versus West matchup.
We were playing in smaller cities, and our one last shot at getting acceptance by the basketball world and the sports world generally was to put on a great show at our All-Star game and demonstrate to the world what great players we had. So we sat around thinking about what can we do in addition to playing an all-star game, player against player. How can we come up with some type of competition that really showcases the great talent that our league had.
If you remember, the ABA was a league of dunkers. The more outlandish, the better off it was. So it all kind of fell together with Carl Scheer one day calling us and saying, we need something else for this All-Star game. We need to make an impact.
And sitting around in an office or a hotel room, not sure where it was, a group of guys, Jim Bucata, myself, Jim was with the league office, Jim Keeler, thinking, how can we do this? You know, what do we do well? Well, of course, we dunk the ball, and we do it very creatively and very with a great deal of enthusiasm and excitement. Let's try to put together a contest to determine who is our best dunker, and that was how it started.
I thought it would be great. You know, I was one of the leapers in the game and wanted to be able to showcase my skills in the slam dunk competition, so I was all for it.
When I knew there was going to be a slam dunk contest in '76, I was pretty excited about it. You know, dunking was my forte. We knew it would be a great showcase.
NBA All-Star Saturday night is all about showtime. First up, NBA legends join the best of the NBA and the WNBA in the Radio Shack Shooting Stars. Then it's a test of ability in the PlayStation Skills Challenge. After that, the NBA's Deep Threat square up in the Foot Locker three-point shootout. And capping off the night, TNT brings the Thunder. It's the Sprite Rising Star Slam Dunk. NBA All-Star Saturday night, presented by America Online. Tonight at 8 Eastern, only on TNT.
To solve an ancient mystery.
The treasure is still buried right here.
You don't go to the government.
That is not a company problem.
You turn to the experts.
We're going upriver to the ship of death. Great! You got 72 hours.
On April 8th.
Come on, let's go!
A secret only they can uncover.
Oh my God.
Is a threat only they can stop.
It's time to call the cavalry.
Sahara, rated PG-13, starts April 8th.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. Few, the proud, the Marines.
To protect you from taste loss, take the Taste Challenge. Question 1. What should a real light beer look like?
Like beer?
That's right. Miller Lite has a rich golden color. Question 2. What should a real light beer taste like?
Like beer.
Correct. Miller Lite has a satisfying great taste. And finally, how do you fight taste loss?
With antibiotics?
No. Drink a great tasting Miller Lite with more taste than Bud Light and half the carbs. Get the facts at PreventTasteLoss.com.
Thanks.
Miller. Good call.
RBK pumps, inflatable shoes for a custom fit.
Mile High Legend of the Dunk Contest is brought to you by the United States Marine Corps, by RBK Pumps, inflatable shoes for a custom fit, and by Miller. Good call.
Welcome back to Mile High, Legend of the Dunk Contest. Now, as the ABA used the slam dunk to attract fans and players to its league, the NCAA decided to go the opposite way and ban the slam dunk in 1967, and did not bring it back until 9 years later, the same time frame that the ABA existed. Utilizing the slam dunk and the hardship rule to recruit numerous players to leave school early, the ABA signed such high flyers as Julius Erving, David Thompson, and George Gervin. On Tuesday night, January 27th, 1976, the league would showcase these talents during the 9th annual All-Star Game.
We weren't certain that this game could put 17,000 people in the old McNichols Arena in Denver and create the kind of excitement and environment that we wanted. So we weren't confident enough in our own ability to market the game. So we said, well, let's bring a big major concert along with the slam dunk contest.
So Carl decided we wanted to make it a little bit more special, a little bit of an extravaganza. And we had kind of an odd combination with Glenn Campbell and Charlie Ridge. And there was a lot of buzz in the community about it because it hadn't happened before.
Oh, don't you make me proud. Carl believed in two things. One, he wanted to fill the building for the All-Star Game. And two, He was always into family entertainment above and beyond basketball.
I do remember the concert. I think we stood in the corridor and watched the guys who were players. So we only watched part of it, and it was actually pretty cool.
I guess a lot of people came for that, you know, being out in the Midwest, people like that type of music.
I remember we had a Glenn Campbell concert. Now that doesn't sound too exciting, but in 1976, Glenn Campbell is a pretty big name.
Like a rhinestone cowboy.
We would show you video of Glenn Campbell and the Silver Fox from that night, but no known video exists, as the concert was not televised. The broadcast of the ABA's finest were only shown in 5 markets, mostly on independent stations locally in Denver, San Antonio, Indianapolis, St. Louis, and Louisville, all ABA cities. Without the mass media of television to promote their players, the 5 contestants in the slam dunk contest all merited nicknames to market their impressive skills.
Well, David Thompson was Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, along the lines of the Star Wars, very popular then. And David literally would walk in the sky. I mean, he was one guy who could elevate and then in midair go even higher. It looked like he was walking on air. Julius Erving was a doctor, well documented how he operated on the court. George Gervin was the Iceman, just as cool as ice. Larry Kenon was Mr. K, and Artis Gilmore, the A-Train. When he got the ball, he was just the A-Train coming down the line, and there wasn't much you can do with stopping Artis.
Good evening, everyone. This huge, record-breaking crowd here at McNichols Arena, about to bear witness to one of the most spectacular events in professional basketball, the Slam Dunk Contest. It will feature 5 of the most talented, colorful players in basketball, all with a flair for that sensational slam dunk.
With these words by my brother Al, the Slam Dunk Contest was introduced.
And now to introduce the 5 participants.
The judges, a long-time Nuggets fan, Alberta Worthington, would be one of 4 to preside sitting courtside as Artis Gilmore began the competition.
We had Artis Gilmore, and that was a mistake because he was already 7'1", and he couldn't add a lot of flair to his dunks. And then we had George Gervin.
Well, I think I did all right. I mean, you know, I didn't think I did anything spectacular to be considered one of the winners, but, you know, I could dunk the basketball. I could dunk it with ease, but I was kind of known for finger rolling.
Gervin replaced Marvin Bad News Barnes, who sat out due to a neck injury. Next up, Larry Kenon of the San Antonio Spurs, who at 6'9" showed power and creativity in his performance.
Even though there were a lot of guys in that first slam dunk contest that could do some remarkable things, I think everybody knew that it would eventually come down to David and to Julius.
I'm practicing at 3:30. Someone stole my car.
Hold the phone. I got my boys at Fix-A-Hoopties to trick out your ride. What do you think? It's tight, right?
Okay, that looks exactly the same.
Didn't your mama tell you? It's the inside that counts. Check this out.
Shut up.
Crisp, clean, thirst quenching Sprite, never out of reach. Show 'em my motto. By the way, you owe $37,000.
RBK Pumps, inflatable shoes for a custom fit. RBK Pumps. Inflatable shoes for a custom fit.
Come see the 2005 Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs at the Auto Show. Then get behind the wheel of one of your local Chevy dealers and get $500 Auto Show bonus cash on top of most current incentives when you choose any 05 Chevy Malibu, Malibu Max, Silverado, Suburban, or Tahoe. That's $500 Auto Show bonus cash plus eligible current incentives on these great Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs. Chevy, an American revolution. See your participating Mid-South Chevy dealer today.
It's time to get your tickets for the 2005 Kelly Tire CUSA Men's Basketball Tournament, March 9th through the 12th at the brand new FedEx Forum in Memphis.
Memphis invites you to join us for this year's men's basketball tournament. Come join us for some great basketball and great barbecue.
For complete tournament information, visit conferenceusa.com. Beale Street, barbecue, big time basketball.
Welcome back to Mile High, legend of the dunk contest. One of the key factors to the ABA's merger with the NBA was the high-flying artistry and drawing power of Julius Erving and David Thompson. A rookie in 1976 after signing with Denver over the NBA's Atlanta Hawks, Thompson's credits included a national championship at North Carolina State. As for the doctor, he was the ABA, a two-time most valuable player and All-ABA for each of his 5 seasons.
Julius Erving is the most phenomenal player I've ever seen. The temptation was to just kind of stop and watch Julius play, because he did some things that were, unbelievable. He'd do it, and you'd be running back down to the court to the offensive end thinking, did I just see what I saw?
I remember sitting on the bench and 3 or 4 times a night saying to myself, I can't believe he just did that. He would do something that other players can't do. He was that type athlete, and he did it night after night after night, and it was a joy just to sit there and watch that guy play.
David, everybody realized what a special player he was in college. Coming into our league was a huge feather in the ABA.
The 2 remaining, David Thompson and Dr. J. And here is the Denver Nuggets, David Thompson.
In the first dunk, you had to do right up near the basket. What I did was just a straight up power dunk. Pumped it like 3 times behind my head and dunked it into the basket. I thought that was pretty decent.
DT was the kind of guy that had the frog jump, where he jumped off 2 legs all the time, but he can take a dime off the top of the backboard.
My second dunk was, I think it was probably the one where we had to take off from beyond 12 feet. Instead of doing a regular dunk, I cupped it and did a tomahawk windmill dunk, which was pretty good. My momentum carried me into the backboard. Thought that was a pretty good dunk. I got up pretty high and added a little extra to it.
I've never seen anybody for his size be able to get in the air like David could.
My third dunk, I think, was one where I went baseline, put the ball up to the rim, balled up in midair, and dunked over my shoulder. And I really liked that dunk. Got good response from the crowd, and that was a real good dunk.
A double pop, David Thompson.
Nobody was that explosive as David. No one was that quick, and he jumped so fast and so high.
My fourth dunk was the one where I made a critical mistake. I went baseline, I tapped the ball off the backboard, and I was bringing it around and dunked backward. And for some reason, when I hit it off the backboard, I maybe hit it maybe a little bit too hard. When I went to dunk, I was a little bit off center, and the ball went down and rolled out. And so I thought, man, I'm in trouble now. I missed one. So on my last dunk, I saved my specialty. I went baseline and did a complete 360 dunk, 2 hands, got a good height and dunked it in real clean.
Twist around, slam dunk.
I was pretty impressed with the dunks I did and pretty pleased, except that one dunk I missed. I knew that was probably going to hurt me.
It would have been tight, because even if David had made that dunk, the fact that Julius and before the contest, it had kind of gotten around that Julius was going to try a dunk taking off from the free throw line.
Dr. J had a certain presence about him. I mean, we had great dunkers and very creative guys, but when Doc picked up the ball, there was a hush in the crowd. It was magical.
And now the doctor goes to work.
When he started running back into the back court, I mean, there are people looking at, where is he going? You know, I mean, did he lose his contacts back there? Is he leaving, go to the bathroom? You know, he's just stopped at the other end of the floor, and everybody got so excited when they, you know, understood what he was now looking to attempt to do.
So he marked off his steps. And took off running. Picked up a lot of speed, a lot of steam. His afro was blowing in the wind.
Well, I remember he had a big afro and his hair was just flying in the back and he just dunked it.
When he ran the length of the court and took off at the foul line, he actually went into the air, appeared to be in slow motion, but at the same time picking up speed going towards the basket and then just dunked it with such force. There seemed to be a molecular reaction to it, and it drove everybody out of their seats.
And that sends everyone reeling. Julius Erving.
He took up, we soared in the air and made a spectacular dunk. And just the crowd went crazy. The players went wild, jumping up and giving each other high fives. And after he did that dunk, I knew I was in trouble.
I think if I just jumped from that hatch mark or wherever the white line was, like everybody else did, there wouldn't have been a distinct difference. Maybe I could have jumped a little higher or did something tricky on the way, and that would have brought risk into it, but I'm jumping farther out. You know, that had an impact. And I had seen that before with people young and old alike, you know, who just like to see brothers fly.
It was just incredible to see the end result. Doug Moe to this day said he stepped over the line. I just thought it was a spectacular dunk.
Doug Moe was going around betting everybody. He said it can't be done, that it's physically impossible to take off from the free throw line and dunk the basketball.
It was funny because Kevin Lockery and Rod Thorne had said that Dr. J can dunk from the foul line. And I said, nobody can dunk from the foul line. So I said, it's not possible, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bet you a certain amount of money. You can go back and practice Dr. J for 2 weeks. You can see. If you want to come back and bet, I'll still bet you, because I don't think you can do it. And they came back, they called the bet off.
But the foul line one was the one that involved the leap, the timing, the sequence, and then the punctuation point. And the punctuation is when, you know, you create the vacuum in the room and people just say, I can practice all I want, but I ain't gonna do that.
I think in a surreal way, you know, you look at it like the Wright brothers, Charles Lindbergh, John Glenn. I think the fans witnessed there the first solo flight of its kind.
Even after his flight from the free throw line, the doctor would need to complete 3 more dunks before he would be crowned the champion. Erving and the 4 other contestants would share a total of nearly $1,200 in prize money. However, all was not lost for David Thompson. His second-half performance in the All-Star game would lead the Nuggets to a 144-138 victory over Erving and the ABA All-Stars. And Thompson would capture the MVP award.
I described that night in '76 as one of the great nights for me in professional basketball history. It was one of those days and nights where everything came together. It was truly one of the great moments, I think, in event history in Colorado, certainly, and I think in the ABA's history.
You got to give Carl credit. His vision was something special. There'll never be a slam dunk contest to rival that one. You know, I know Michael and Dominique and all, you know, Spud and, you know, all these other guys that are such high flyers. I'm amazed at the things they're able to do, but nothing will ever rival that year, because I don't think you'll ever have two guys quite like David and Doc.
I think that night was the ABA infomercial, and I think it really had something to do with the acceleration of the merger. These guys were on the platform that night, and I think the NBA recognized that some of the best young talent in basketball now playing in the ABA.
Within 6 months, the ABA would merge with the NBA, and 4 teams of the 7, the Nuggets, the Pacers, the Spurs, and the Nets, would join the established league, putting an end to a memorable 9-year run of the ABA.
Coming up, do you remember when Hall of Famers Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Elvin Hayes, along with Darryl Dawkins, competed in a slam dunk contest? We'll give you the details of this long-forgotten competition when we continue.
How's that feel?
Feels great.
The AQ Garnett, only at Foot Locker.
On March 4th, the Navy's top commando will be sent to protect this family. But none of his training could prepare him for this.
Oh my! He bit me.
The Pacifier, rated PG, starts March 4th.
Can inspiration replace the typical small car with something that lives a little larger? More space, more function, more sizzle. America's best small car alternative just got a little better. The Chrysler PT Cruiser.
Now get 0 plus. That means 0% financing plus February bonus cash for up to $4,200 in total savings on PT Cruiser.
There's a new way to search. Introducing the new, more precise, more powerful MSN Search.
In 1977, 1 year after the merger, CBS televised NBA's Game of the Week. During that season, some of the league's premier players participated in a tournament-style slam dunk contest, pitting player against player during their halftime shows. Julius Erving, now with the Philadelphia 76ers, declined to take part. However, some of the NBA's greatest would compete.
Who's this 7-footer in his practice jersey? How about the NBA's all-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Who's this future Hall of Famer in a Trailblazers uniform? Why, it's Moses Malone, who never played with Portland, but competed under their colors before eventually being traded to the Houston Rockets. Here's the Big E, Elvin Hayes, lumbering through a couple of dunks in the earlier round.
Shots by Darryl Dawkins could be a deciding factor.
And how about the Iceman, George Gervin, who would take his experience from the ABA slam dunk contest to the NBA? And here's a youthful 20-year-old Darryl Dawkins before he broke 2 backboards and became known as Chocolate Thunder.
For this timing move, they don't have to dribble the ball. Look at him slam that. Perfect score from each judge.
Don Quickie was the host for the competition. The semifinals would take place during halftime of the All-Star game in Milwaukee. One semifinal matched Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem going up against the man known as Dr. Dunk, the Indiana Pacers' Darnell Hillman.
I had a favorite dunk that I always used to use as the last dunk to go off with, but when I saw what Kareem could do, I had to change my entire format there. And I took my last dunk and put it first. I know I needed something that was going to get the attention of the crowd and hold their attention and make them forget about what they had just seen from Kareem so I could get the highest score possible.
Hillman defeated Abdul-Jabbar to advance to the finals. In the other semifinal, Larry McNeil, who was cut earlier in the season by the Nets, would still participate despite the lack of a team. His performance was actually sponsored.
Larry wasn't in the league maybe at that time, and he was the Post. In fact, the New York Post sponsored it.
McNeil, picked up later in the season by the Warriors, would advance to the finals to face Darnell Hillman during the NBA championships in Portland. Believe it or not, Hillman would market his own product.
A business here in town was called the Bottle Shop, and I played on their softball team, and this guy asked me if I would wear his shirt on national TV, and he'd take care of me for it, and I said, not a problem, I was very honored that he had asked me to wear that. I think I had overheard that Larry's his favorite dunk was he just dunked 2 hands, grab hold to the rim, and he'd literally do a chin-up. I didn't let himself back down. Well, that's what he did during the slam dunk contest, and I'm thinking to myself, if that's all you got, oh, baby, look out, because I'm going to see if I can bring the roof down on this.
And it was Dr. Dunk, Darnell Hillman, defeating Larry McNeil to capture the slam dunk crown. Coming up, Julius Erving returns to Denver for the NBA's version of the slam dunk contest.
Are you meeting up with Jenny?
Let me check. Hey, Jenny, it's me. Hold on, there's somebody on my other line. Hello?
Looks like it's time to sign up for the new Family Share Plan from Verizon Wireless. Get the first 2 lines for $59.99 and each additional line for $9.99. All with unlimited in-calling to other customers from our coverage area. Plus, get a Samsung A670 camera phone for just $49.99. Good. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Take some. If you're gonna play out here, you not only have to be tough on the outside, you're gonna have to be tough on the inside.
On March 4th, the Navy's top commando will be sent to protect this family. But none of his training could prepare him for this.
Oh my! He bit me.
The Pacifier, rated PG, starts March 4th.
How's that feel?
Feels great.
The AQ Garnett, only at Foot Locker.
I'll go back to school one of these days. Don't rush me. I'll get around to it.
I'm just going to take a couple of years off.
I'm having too much fun to go back now.
Enroll now, while there's still time. Southwest Tennessee Community College.
At Landers Nissan, we're hitting the new year in high gear, and it starts with moving out all of our remaining 04s in stock, and we're moving them out at a great low price. 04 Nissan Xterras take $4,500 off MSRP. 04 Titans now $6,500 off MSRP. All 04s must go because the 05s are here, including the all-new Nissan Frontier and Pathfinder. We're hitting the new year in high gear at Landers Nissan in South Haven.
We welcome you back to Mile High, legend of the dunk contest. The NBA would take 8 years before they would showcase another slam dunk contest. In 1984, Commissioner Larry O'Brien was ending his 9-year tenure. And David Stern, a young attorney who made a name for himself in NBA circles during the merger negotiations with the ABA, was targeted as its new leader.
Starting in '76, when we settled litigation with our players, the sort of litigation after that with our players under the agreements, more collective bargaining, possible threats of lockouts, our anti-drug agreement, the suspension of players from the league for using drugs, the issues of whether a league that was predominantly black would survive in America. It was almost as though we had worked our way through many of those things, and then that brought us to Feb 1, '84, the All-Star Weekend, and it was sort of a place, I think, to begin doing a little bit more celebration.
Carl Shearer, who was the president of the Nuggets not only in 1984, but also had been there in 1976 for the amazing ABA years, came to New York City and invited my boss at the time, a guy by the name of Adrian DeGroot, and I to come join him for a drink at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
I don't remember the details of that meeting other than, we wanted to do a slam dunk contest and we wanted to get all the players involved.
As we sat and talked with Carl, his passion for the heritage of the Nuggets came through loud and clear. And Carl threw out the idea of what if we recreated the slam dunk contest that took place in 1976 at the ABA game. What if we did that at halftime of the NBA contest? And that's really what set the wheels in motion for what eventually transpired.
I knew that it sort of had an ABA connotation to it, but actually I thought it would be kind of fun. So we decided to sort of sell it to Larry O'Brien, who was then the commissioner.
Now, I can't say that Larry was quite as receptive to the idea, but as he thought about it and talked about it for a while, we got, a go-ahead, provided, one, that we didn't embarrass him on his last weekend in office, and two, that it didn't cost the league a nickel.
So the idea that came forth became forever known as All-Star Saturday, the first one taking place at the old McNichols Arena in Denver on the 28th of January, 1984. A Legends game featuring all-stars of years gone by would also be featured, along with the Gatorade Slam Dunk Contest. The participants included Michael Cooper, Clyde Drexler, Darrell Griffith, Edgar Jones, Larry Nance, 7'4" Ralph Sampson, Dominique Wilkins, and Orlando Woolridge.
I'd already introduced the other 8 participants in the slam dunk, and then Julius was the only one remaining, and he was sitting on the bench all alone. All eyes were on him, and all I could get out was,
"It was 8 years ago to the day yesterday."
And that was seemed to be the cue for the fans, who just exploded. And I think he was quite surprised with the reaction. And just after a while, I saw Julius just start to get up, and all I yelled over the PA was, "Julius Erving!" And the place, even erupted more.
All entertainers respond to the crowd and are capable of playing to a crowd that shows affection for them. So I think when the cheers were there, a lot of the aches and pains just started to disappear a little bit. A lot of the creak in the knees started to disappear. It was like, all right, let's bring our best and let's just see what happened.
Well, I remember when they announced Dr. J that the whole building went crazy. Because he's a household name. He's a guy who was the probably the most noticeable guy and the most recognized guy in the NBA. So he had a huge, huge following.
Erving's major competition from the '76 contest, David Thompson, would not participate because he signed with Seattle only 2 weeks prior to the event in the wake of drug and alcohol concerns. A panel of 5 judges included such legends as Pete Maravich and Connie Hawkins, along with U.S. Congresswoman Pat Schroeder of Colorado. Three dunks were required in the first round, and a miss would basically eliminate the player. Dominique Wilkin, the human highlight film, would lead after the first round with an awesome aerial display. Larry Nance of Phoenix was consistent and advanced to the semifinals, along with Utah's Darrell Griffin. For Julius Erving, his last dunk was memorable, but for other reasons.
When I turned around backwards, I dunked the ball over my head. Momentum just kind of carried me out of bounds, and my head hit the support at the bottom of the backboard. When that time, it was probably all because of adrenaline, because I had never done that before. I never hit my head on a backboard or a rim.
The doctor would need medical attention, but did advance to the second round. When we return, the completion of the 1984 Slam Dunk Contest.
Are you meeting up with Jenny?
Let me check. Hey, Jenny, it's me. Hold on, there's somebody on my other line. Hello?
Looks like it's time to sign up for the new Family Share Plan from Verizon Wireless. Get the first 2 lines for $59.99 and each additional line for $9.99. All with unlimited in-calling to other customers from our coverage area. Plus, get a Samsung A670 camera phone for just $49.99.
Good.
Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
We're going upriver to the ship of death. Great!
On April 8th, join an expedition beyond imagination.
Oh my God.
Come on, let's go!
To solve the riddles of the past.
That's strange. Out here in the middle of nowhere.
And unlock the mystery of our future.
You got 72 hours.
From the international best-selling novel.
I finally have the proof.
Sahara, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, April 8th. Only in theater.
Welcome back to the action, race fans. Hold on to your corn dogs, people. It's getting nasty out there. This enormous crowd comes to its feet for the final lap. Racer down, racer down. That'll jar his jam. It's a 2-man race. Nev on the inside, Dathan on the outside at the line. It's Kaplensky. Nev Kaplensky. He's got the possum off his back. That's a big win.
The Nike Shox Turbos, available at Finish Line.
Chicken selects from McDonald's. They're good.
Why? Because they say they're good? I bet they also say crispy.
Crispy is just a smoke screen. Just like juicy chicken breast.
It is a juicy chicken breast strip.
They're controlling you, man.
Why don't you go to McDonald's and try one for free?
Now they have you believing it's free. What?
Look. Oh, no. I'm not going to fall for that.
Nice try. Nothing's free.
I'm thinking get out of the movie business.
Chili Palmer is a man you don't mess with. In a game where everyone is playing for keeps.
Have a nice day.
I got a movie for you.
From the author and producers of Get Shorty and from the drama of TNT.
This place is like Wild Wild West.
The man.
Who are you supposed to be?
I'm sorry, Chili Palmer. I'm Linda's new manager.
The champion.
I see a guy like you and I say he's got the look, but does he have the talent? Look at that.
The manager.
Stop hating. Start participating.
This spring.
Wait. Here we go.
Now speak to my daughter.
Good morning, Lisa.
Everyone is looking to make their move.
Do you dance, Chili?
I'm trying it, baby.
Be cool.
Be cool.
I am cool.
Julius Erving cemented his legendary status in 1983, leading the Philadelphia 76ers to his first and only NBA title. At 33 years of age, Erving was headed into the twilight of his career and could have easily declined the opportunity to participate in the 1984 slam dunk contest held in Denver. However, he accepted the invitation, knowing the chance to compete and his marquee value would help sell the event.
Julius Erving was the guy that I always was in my backyard. I mean, I've watched him play some, and my backyard was called the Spectrum, and he's the guy I really looked up to because he was such a great dunker in game.
I remember first coming to the league, and I met Dr. J, and I remember telling him, everything I've done in my career up to this point is because of you, and I really appreciate you, as an inspiration to me. So I try to perfect myself on and off the court the same way.
Larry Nance set the tone for the semifinals.
Yeah, I feel like that was going to be one of my best because of my height and my length. So I threw it off one side and caught it on the other side and dunked it in. I almost missed it, and that's where my height came in because I had to reach really hard, and then I got it in.
Dominique Wilkins would receive 2 consecutive 48s out of a possible 50. Adding a twist to his repertoire, shades from the ABA's. Slam dunk contest.
Dominique did the 2 balls, which I was glad he did it because he went in and dunked 2 balls straight in. And I felt like I was going to do 2 balls, but I wasn't going to do it till later on. Mine is kind of reversed. And I think the guy said that, I got to be careful following behind Dominique, but, I felt whatever score he got, I either had to get the same or one better because I did turn around and do it backwards.
As for the doctor, his second dunk would top both Nance and Wilkins.
To get a 49, I needed to do something with some elevation, throw the ball on the backboard, catch it with 2 hands or catch it with 1 hand, or just try and catch it in reverse and dunk it. And, just try to do things that people hadn't seen and that the judges would be able to appreciate.
For their final dunks in the semis, Darrell Griffith misfired, and Wilkins only scored a 41, leaving the door open for Julius Erving.
I got caught up in the awe of it, and it was Dr. J, and so I didn't really care for won or loss, I was just happy to be there.
The fan favorite would post a 47 and advance to the finals to go up against Larry Nance. Before the final round, Julius conferred with his family.
During that 84 contest, my sons were ball boys, and we had spent a little time talking about various dunks that they had seen me do and that I knew I could execute, and then we had assigned point value to them, anywhere from 40 to 50.
There you saw Julius sitting on the floor with his 2 kids and his 76er teammate, Andrew Toney, and they took out a piece of paper where they actually had diagrammed slam dunks. I think Julius was the first player to bring X and O's to a slam dunk contest.
It was basically just a scratch pad, and at one time they were in disagreement about what I should try, so I just went and did what I felt like doing.
Erving's final round competitor was a 6'10" power forward in his 3rd NBA season with the Phoenix Suns.
Larry Nance was very much like Julius. I mean, he had the long, thin build, but Larry was incredible the way he can twist and turn his body and contort it with the dunks going, his hand going one way, his legs going another way. It was like a giant Gumby won the slam dunk contest.
Larry was an unusual dunker. I mean, he's a guy who was a 6'10", 6'11", that jumped through the roof, but he was one of the first finesse big guys I've seen in the league that could play inside out and had unbelievable dunks. He had great creativity, and so we knew he was going to be a tough guy to beat.
The finals again would alternate 3 dunks with Erving going first. He would post a 47. Nance would do him one better with a 48 on this throwdown. For the doctor, it came down to this.
I thought if I could, kind of pull something off that they really hadn't seen before, go from an angle. We had already done the foul line, and just put like an extra twist in it. I mean, I was going so fast and so hard, I ended up hitting the back of the rim, with the dunk, and so like in the ball game, couldn't replace that dunk.
That guy gave me the opening I needed, and I think I did like what people considered was a real simple dunk, but what I wanted to show on that dunk was how high my head was.
With his chin above the rim.
Julius, you finish with taking off from the foul line once again as you did in 1976. In fact, you're going for the same basket, and you score a perfect 50.
I was not in a position to win because I had missed the really creative dunk. As an athlete and as an entertainer, I mean, you want to give a good show. And although that was anticlimactic, it was still something that you've seen very few people do in a competition.
It was like a musician giving a performance and singing one of his greatest hits. Julius was bringing back his greatest hit from the 1976 All-Star Game.
I remember that Dr. J tried his old, from what seemed from the half court line, but it was only the foul line. And it was still beautiful to watch. I don't care what anyone says. He was a unique in my view.
When he completed that dunk, he left at the foul line, flew into the air, came down into the hands of Magic Johnson, and then there was Isaiah Thomas also, who was going wild after the shot. I think everybody totally enjoyed Julius bringing it back. Plus, it was the only perfect dunk of that night. Tough judges that night, but Julius got the 50.
However, Nance would complete this surprising upset, going to a sensational windmill to capture first place, and with it, a $10,000 payday.
The 10 grand they was paying was going to be pretty good. That's good money, man. And I had things I wanted to buy with that.
And Larry Nance puts it away. The final stop.
So right before I came there, I seen a 67 Camaro that I wanted. It was around $12,000 then to buy that car, and that's what I came to get. And as soon as I got back home, I bought that car. That's what I love. That's my favorite car of all time. And, other guys have drove Mercedes and stuff to the games, but man, when I got my Camaro, I drove it everywhere. And that's what I ended up buying with the money. I kept that car for 15 years, and then I was racing HRA Pro Stock and wanted to buy some parts for my race car and sold that car. And to this day, I wish I could buy that car back. So if you got my Camaro, call the Cavs and tell them.
At 6'10", Larry Nance is still the tallest player to win the NBA Slam Dunk Contest. A 5-year-old cable station, ESPN, televised that first All-Star Saturday on a tape-delayed basis. The following season, Turner Broadcasting would begin televising NBA games along with the Slam Dunk Contest. The live broadcasts of All-Star Saturday would start in 1987.
On March 11th, the creators of Ice Age present the greatest comedy ever assembled. Oh boy! Ewan McGregor.
Mr. Big Wells, we're out of time!
Halle Berry.
Woo! We're out of here!
Greg Kinnear.
Take Fat Face to the chop shop.
Amanda Bynes.
I'm getting all staticky just thinking about it.
Mel Brooks.
Who's the king of the beach?
And Robin Williams.
I gotta go to the tracks!
Robots.
Coming to a theater near you.
Rated PG. March 11th.
There's a force out there. It's strong. It's powerful. It stops for nothing and no one. It's a wrecking ball off the chain. It's the thunder and the lightning. The Nike Air Force operate in the House of Hoops. Only at Foot Locker.
In a town full of pretenders.
Twinkle, twinkle, baby, twinkle, twinkle.
He talks like that?
He thinks he's black.
All clown it, baby.
Everyone wants to be a gangster.
Calm down. My bad, dog. It's my wife's cousin.
But Joey Palmer is the real thing.
I like to be spontaneous and creative. We got jokes?
This ain't cool, man!
Be cool. Taboo. That's not gangsta. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, March 4th in theaters.
The hottest new trend with women is Girls Night In. Get the snacks and your best friends because tonight it's our night to enjoy what we want to watch. My new home theater from Giant TV proves that size does matter. Giant TV has the best prices, selection, and service. And the best part is, my husband thought it was his idea. Girls Night In, made better with Giant TV. Experience the difference with Giant TV.
It's Goldsmiths Macy's President's Day sale. Use your sale shopping pass for an extra 10 or 15% off sale prices. And use your clearance shopping pass for an extra 10 or 20% off clearance prices. Plus, don't miss 35 to 70% off store-wide specials while they last. The President's Day sale now through Monday. Goldsmiths Macy's. Way to shop.
Mile High Legend of the Dunk Contest is brought to you by MSN. Find what you're after with the new MSN search. By Sprite and Thirst, reminding you to obey your thirst. And by Verizon Wireless.
Welcome back to Mile High Legend of the Dunk Contest. 21 years have gone by since Denver hosted an All-Star Weekend. During that time, the league and many of its players have been showcased worldwide by a host of spectacular moments from past slam dunk contests.
So I never would have imagined dunk contests, being a major part of the weekend, but it has. It has become a very major part, and the other competitions on Saturday have become a very major part. And the All-Star presentation of the All-Star Weekend is better because of it.
Just to be a part of history and just to be pioneers of what the NBA All-Star Weekend and All-Star Game is today, I'm very happy to be a part of that.
It was something special. I mean, it was different. It was never done before, and and I was a part of it. So that in itself was, real exciting. And like I say, to see where it had grown to, I mean, wow. I mean, that really made us a lot more special.
I still think there's nothing that gets the crowd excited or even former players than to see the people in the slam dunk contest, and I wish that more of the players today would participate because it's a great spectacle.
I was just very comfortable that we had a great sport with great players, and that if we marketed it and promoted it, it would be well received throughout the world. And through the years, that's proven true.
They could go places nobody else could go. They brought the vertical game to basketball, brought airspace into the equation, and I think there's a new terminology now in basketball, playing over the rim. I think there's a fascination and appreciation for watching somebody do something that you'll never be able to do in your lifetime.
There's something about the ability of players to fly that really does attract the attention of our fans.
I'm happy to have played a role in it, not an insignificant role by any means, and to see it in 2005 in Denver is a special treat.
It is a spectacular Saturday evening in Denver, Colorado. It's dinner time in Denver, 6 o'clock. And folks, do we have a feast for NBA fans with All-Star Saturday night.